Welcome to a Saturday edition of the Social Spreader. I'm your host, Kevin Jacobs, and this is a segment that I like to call Weekly Reflections into Hell. So, the parents of the Michigan high school shooter were arrested hiding out in a warehouse after it was discovered that they not only knew of his plans, but they did nothing to stop it. A teacher found him looking up ammunition on his phone, contacted the authorities, contacted the school, contacted the parents. It was later discovered that his mom wrote him a text saying, "LOL, I'm not mad at you. Just make sure you don't get caught next time." An armed white man was arrested outside the United Nations after a lengthy standoff with police. He was walking around holding a gun, aiming it all over the place, including to his head. And we all know that if he was black or any other color, he would have been shot dead. But of course, he was arrested peacefully. Currently, on the Big Island of Hawaii, they are forecasted to receive 16 inches of snow, with winds ranging all the way up to 100 miles an hour. While here in Denver, Colorado, it was 75 and sunny the entire week, and it has now set a new record for the longest time between the first snow. We still don't have snow here, and there's still people saying that there isn't a climate crisis. General Mills just paid a $300 million dividend to investors, bought back $150 million in stock to enrich executives and investors, and pay its CEO $16 million. General Mills made $2 billion in profit, but they're raising their cereal prices by anywhere between 20 and 50 cents because what they say is inflation. Oliver Manick, a student at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Yes, that high school in Parkland, Florida. The same high school that had a school shooting in 2018 that killed 17 people, sent a text message in a chat room with other students saying, and I quote, "I feel like a school shooting tomorrow. When I sneeze, go to the bathroom, okay? Hope y'all aren't snitches." When his parents were asked about him after he was arrested and taken into custody, his mom said he was just trying to make a joke. The body cam footage was released from the Tucson Police Department showing the fucking pig, yelling at the wheelchair-bound man who had a knife one time to stop before he sped into the store going 2 miles an hour. After he warned him one time, he proceeded to shoot him 9 times. Speaking of wheelchairs, American Taliban member Madison Cawthorn went before Congress to fight for banning abortions, making it universally illegal for a woman to have rights about what she does with her body. Maybe because he can't get laid. Has anyone ever noticed that all the people that are so anti-abortion are people you wouldn't want to fuck in the first place? And this dude goes before Congress and says, and I quote, "Women are earthen vessels of God made to carry children." Madison Cawthorn, roll yourself down to hell. And while you're down there, save a seat for Anita Bryant and Karl Malone. Let's do a little college basketball, shall we? We're about a month into the season, and as I have said before, I tend to not do too much action until Thanksgiving when it comes to the NBA, hockey, and college hoops. It's just something that I like to do. I like to get as much information as possible. As irony would have it, I am on a college basketball heater. It's been really, really fun. Aside from my complete and utter cold tumble down a mountain of NBA, as I cannot pick a winner in the NBA to save my life, so I think I'm going to stop. But what I like to do, and as much as this might not even count as a preview, what I did is I did some research. And I went ahead and found all the teams right now that are doing very well against the spread. I don't care about their record. I don't care who they play. I care if they cover. As I've said before, good teams win, great teams cover. And I'm in the business of finding great teams. For instance, last year, the greatest team, maybe ever, was the basketball juggernaut of Drake. The Bulldogs, I believe, in Iowa. They started the season 18-3 against the spread. Do you know what that means? That means that if you were to have put $10 on them every game and simply reinvested the profits, you'd have close to $3,500. Those are the kinds of teams that I'm interested in. Now, I know there's a lot of you saying, well, hey, man, you've waited until Thanksgiving. Maybe you've missed the boat on a couple of them. You're absolutely right. But a lot of teams have played anywhere between 8 to 10 games right now, and there's 30 or more games during the season. So sure, you may have missed out on a couple of opportunities, but that doesn't mean that you've completely missed the boat. There's going to be plenty more opportunities. And so what I like to do now is I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of, I guess, some insight into some teams that you should look at when you see them on the schedule. Take a look at who they're playing. Take a look at the matchup. See if there's anything that looks good to lean on them, because these are the teams. These 20 or so teams that I did research on this morning are the top teams in the country against the spread. And let me tell you how many blue blood basketball programs there are, because there's maybe one. And this is why it's so important for you guys to know this, to know who these teams are, because these are teams that are probably garnishing anywhere between 0.5 to 1% of all wagers at every single sports book. People in the college hoops world love to bet on Gonzaga. They love to bet on UCLA. They love to bet on Kentucky. They love to bet on Villanova. They love the amount of money, the amount of handle that the casinos have when it comes to blue blood programs dwarfs anything from teams that can actually make you money, which is all that we're interested in. For this show, what I'm trying to do is find winners, find edges, find good leans, find good fades. That's all that we're trying to do here. This is hard. It is so hard. Look at the NFL season. Look at the experts. The casinos this year are having one of their greatest years of all time, simply because this is hard. It is very hard to predict the future. That's what we're trying to do here. So here are some teams that I want you to keep an eye on, and I'll give you a couple of seconds here to pull up like a Word document or get a piece of paper and a pen, so you can take some notes on this. All right, these are teams that are looking really good because they cover. I don't give a shit if they win. I don't give a shit who they're playing. I care if they cover. Are you ready? Okay. I have got a list of about 20 teams. These are the top 20 teams against the spread currently right now in college basketball. Middle Tennessee State University is 5-1 against the spread. Murray State, is 4-1 against the spread. High Point, ever heard of them? I kind of have, but not really. They are 5-1 against the spread. The Panthers from Florida International are 5-1 against the spread. The Blazers from Alabama Birmingham, UAB, are 6-1 against the spread. South Carolina, Upstate. Yes, that's a school. They are 4-1-1 against the spread. Norfolk State, which sounds like my hometown up in Minneapolis, what people call people way up in the north. The Norfolk, you know? Oh, yeah, eh? Norfolk State, 6-1 against the spread. The Buffalo Bulls, 4-1 against the spread. The aforementioned Wyoming Cowboys, 5-1 against the spread. DePaul University, Inner City Chicago, 5-1 against the spread. Army, the shooting cadets, the hooping cadets, 4-1 against the spread. Davidson, the Steph Curry alum, 6-1 against the spread. Gardner Webb, 4-1 against the spread. Western Illinois, I didn't even know there was a school there. I thought that was Iowa. I thought when you go west in Illinois, you just run into Iowa. 5-1 against the spread. Miami of Ohio, 4-1 against the spread. Fairfield, I believe they're the Friars. No, that's Providence. Fairfield, 5-1 against the spread. The Denver Pioneers, 6-1 against the spread. The only team that could even remotely, lately they haven't. And I'd love to have a talk about Sean Miller and what had happened with the recruiting scandals at Arizona and LSU. A whole other discussion for a whole other day. The Wildcats of Arizona are 5-1 against the spread. Now let's talk about the three teams that are undefeated against the spread. First off, New Hampshire, or as Bob Wiley likes to say, New Hampshire. Oh my God, I gotta stop quoting 1980s movies. I cannot believe that I'm actually trying to get a youthful audience with quoting movies from the 1980s. Maybe I suck at this. Anyway, Maryland Eastern Shore. Yeah, I don't even know what they're called. I don't even know where they are. 6-0 against the spread. I figured Maryland only has a shore on the east. But Maryland Eastern Shore, 6-0 against the spread. And leading the country. And they're going into action today. Leading the country against the spread. The most lucrative team in all of college basketball. Monmouth or Monmouth, whichever way you want to say it. So, why do I do all of this? Why do I illustrate the oddity that is sports gambling? Because as soon as you realize that a team that covers is a team that you should be a fan of, coming from someone who's not a fan of any team, the sooner you realize that, the more prone you are to having success in this racket. The racket known as sports gambling, because it is tough. And I don't know about you. Oh, I'm sorry, I left one out. Alcorn State are 6-0 against the spread, and I believe they're catching like 10 points here today. Alcorn State, 6-0 against the spread. Monmouth, 7-0 against the spread. New Hampshire, 4-0 against the spread. And Maryland Eastern Shore, 6-0 against the spread. If you were to have wagered the same amount of money on Kansas, Gonzaga, Kentucky, UCLA, you would not have any money. In fact, you would owe. But if you put all your money on Maryland Eastern Shore, New Hampshire, Alcorn State, and Monmouth, you'd have a down payment for a house. That's the oddity that is sports gambling. And that's why it's so much fun. I hope that this is helpful. I hope this maybe opened your eyes to some teams that you should look at and keep an eye on. And also, make sure that you find favorable matchups. Go to OddsShark, my friends over at oddshark.com. They do a great job. They have all the resources there that you can see how they are at home and away splits, against the spread at home, over-under at home. Everything that you need to know is in there. My only hope is someday I can become some kind of a partner with them. However, look at those teams. Look them up. Take a look at their matchups. Do what you got to do. Try to find a good edge. Try to find somewhere where you can make some money. And if you have anything going on here today or this weekend or tomorrow with college football, today with college football and tomorrow with the NFL, good luck with your bets.